And good afternoon, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News, and this is From Someone Who Knows. A little bit of a restart here. Apologies for our technical problems. But we want to talk about a sentencing earlier this week in court. The 18th convicted East Cleveland police officer to be charged, and ultimately this latest officer pleaded guilty. 18 officers have been convicted, 12 of them of felonies, and 16 of them have forfeited what's known as their OPATA license. That stands for Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy. Basically, their license to be a police officer, they have surrendered those. Today's From Someone Who Knows involves Officer Kyle Wood. That's him at the defendant table earlier this week being sentenced. He was pleaded guilty to 8 counts, including 2 assault, 1 interfering with civil rights, and 2 dereliction of duty. You'll notice in the body cam video that was shown in court, very often you had defendants or suspects who had their hands up. In this body cam, he had his hands out the window waiting to be arrested. He was trading text messages with his partner saying they hope that every time they ride together, someone bleeds and they get into a pursuit. Here's the next case, an individual already on the ground with his hands behind his head, but yet Officer Wood starts punching that individual in the ribs and kneeing him in the ribs. This is what ultimately led to Kyle Wood being given a year in prison by the judge. But before that sentence was handed down, a civil rights researcher and analyst was able to speak before the judge to explain the impact that these 18 officers have had on their community and what this has done to the people of East Cleveland. So you're going to hear from her in just 60 seconds as we take a break.
Mr. Wood responds LMFAO. I think everybody knows what that means. You ain't lying.
Felony of the 5th degree punishable if placed on post-release control and
And welcome back to From Someone Who Knows. Again, we're running this segment because what you see on Channel 19, you see a minute or two of what happened in court, but this is a chance for you to see the entire testimony of Mariah Crenshaw. She is the lead researcher and analyst for Chase Injustice, a civil rights group that looks for injustices not just when it comes to police, but in all areas. But she felt the need to testify before the judge this week, before the sentence was handed down. So hear from someone who knows, a civil rights expert, on what police brutality can do to a community. Take a listen.
I am the lead researcher and analyst for Chasing Justice LLC. I'm a community activist. My work is not limited to one area. I have worked across the country and I have worked internationally concerning all types of issues that affect everyone, whether it's foreclosures or police misconduct. America's a wonderful place because we have freedom of speech and we're allowed to say things, and I appreciate the court allowing me to exercise my right here today to my ability to freely speak. Yesterday I was here and I spoke, and after I left, I watched a live press conference from the state of Ohio, Keith Faber. And I knew it was coming. Tried to tell residents for the last 6 years that it was a possibility this was going to happen. Keith Faber announced that as of today, legislation had been passed and that the state now has the legal authority to take over municipalities who have gone into fiscal emergency for more than 10 years, and East Cleveland fits that scenario. And I want the court and everyone within earshot, especially the defendant, to understand the impact of the conduct of the East Cleveland Police Department. $65 million plus, because there are still pending lawsuits that have not been settled or judgments have happened. $65 million in police misconduct lawsuits alone. The state is going to take receivership over the municipality, which is more than likely going to lead to a forensic audit, and it's going to show a lot of things that people are going to be surprised, but I won't be. These people who were employed as peace officers in the city of East Cleveland, free guns, free ammo, free cars, authority. It was funny. They were laughing, they were joking, they were breaking people's phones, they were shooting people, they were running people off the road, they were T-boning people, they were breaking hands, and wouldn't even allow paramedics to treat the people that they had injured. This is so disgraceful. I lose words. I watch these videos and I just cannot understand how one human being can treat another human being like this and not even care about the impact it has on the community who watches it, because it's been proven that the African American community suffers from PTSD from watching these type of videos and seeing this type of conduct. The greater impact now is on the residents of the city of East Cleveland. They don't have streets, they don't have lights, they don't have basic services that they need, because they're paying out millions and millions of dollars because of people like the defendant. This is irreparable damages. Mark my word, within 10 years, East Cleveland will be dissolved because of people like the defendant, because of all the other people that have been before this court, and you've had to sentence them, and I've had opportunity to speak about their conduct. They didn't care what they were doing to the residents, let alone the victims that they came into contact with. $65 million. My brain cannot even conceive what can be done with $65 million to rehabilitate that municipality and to give those residents a better quality of life. And instead, it's being paid out because of people like the defendant. He'll never pay a dime for it. It won't come out of his pocket. It comes out of the taxpayers' pockets. Those same people that he took an oath to protect, that the Constitution, he took an oath that he would support. Every person from that department that has come through this courtroom has enjoyed due process, equal protections under the law. They did not give that to their victims. And now we have a municipality that has been completely destroyed by a police department. Unheard of, unprecedented, and it's disgraceful. And I hope he carries that with him for the rest of his life, to understand when he sees what's happening to that municipality, along with all the other people who have been through this courtroom and sentenced, understand the impact of their conduct went beyond these videos. It went beyond them being charged. These people in East Cleveland are irreparably damaged. They will never recover from this. And it is absolutely disgraceful. Thank you, Your Honor, for another opportunity. And I would like to tell the investigators and the Kyle County Prosecutor's Office, thank you for your due diligence in making sure these people are brought to justice.
18 different East Cleveland police officers convicted. Some powerful words from Mariah Crenshaw, who brings up the very valid point that these officers, that clearly, whether it was a fraternity or a cancer within that police department that felt they could do whatever they wanted to whomever they wanted, and that city is now in a hole of $65 million in lawsuits from the victims. And as you heard, the state auditor, the auditor of state, announced this week that he is recommending that the city of East Cleveland be put into receivership. They have no money. They've been under physical emergency for 10, 20, 30, maybe even 40 years. And that ultimately in his news conference, that city may have to declare bankruptcy. That is what's at stake. It is more than just police brutality. It is what it has done to an entire community. Somebody who lives in East Cleveland that has never had a problem with the police. They have paid their taxes, but yet their roads are terrible. Their city services are terrible. We've done stories in the past where they don't have ambulances or fire trucks that are running because they are dilapidated, because they have no money. So it goes way beyond convictions to 18 officers, as pointed out by Mariah Crenshaw. That's why we do this. That's why we do From Someone Who Knows, so that you can hear her entire testimony as to why she felt so passionate as a civil rights leader to testify before the judge and the sentencing of former police officer Kyle Wood. We do this every week, and we want to make sure you know that you can watch past episodes. If you're watching this on your phone, it makes it a little hard to scan that QR code, but if you're watching this online, one of our digital properties, you can scan that QR code and get to past episodes. And we have covered an entire range of topics. And they are fascinating to watch because it's a little bit of a behind the curtain. You get to see more of a story. It's explained a little better. One of the more popular episodes, one of the more sad episodes that we've run is the Amish mother who admitted to drowning her child and trying to kill her other 3 teenage children. And the body cam video gives you insight into that mother's mentality that morning when she was arrested. That's one of the past episodes. If you scan that QR code and I'll bring it back up, scan that QR code, you can watch that and several other past episodes. Remember, we do 3.5 hours of news and first alert weather coming up at 3 o'clock on Channel 19, just about 2 hours from now. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News, and this has been From Someone Who Knows.